candidate, or the candidate for Congressional District 1, Mr. Jonathan Paton. Let's give him a big hand.
Are you all fired up? Yeah. Are you fired up? Yeah. You should be, because today is the day we begin to take this country back. My name is Jonathan Paton, and I'm the guy who's going to beat Ann Kirkpatrick in November. We've got a tracker here from the Democratic Party. Make sure you greet them before you leave today. They follow me around everywhere. I want to tell you a little story. Everyone asks me, where did you get your political philosophy? Where was that born? I grew up here in Arizona, and I had a dream that all I wanted to do was see the world. So I got the chance to go overseas, to go to what was then West Germany as an exchange student when I was 18 years old. And that was 1989, 1990. That was a pretty important moment in American and world history and in German history, because that was the year that the Berlin Wall collapsed. And I remember this very well. The day that the wall fell, the West German government gave every single East German citizen 100 Deutschmarks, and they came through. Our little town was only about 1,400 people. There was a neighboring town about 23,000 people. We had 50,000 visitors in one weekend. And they took everything that they bought everything that they could, all the things that they couldn't get when they were in East Germany. They had bags of pineapples, chocolate, meat, toilet paper, whatever was scarce in East Germany. And I learned Russian at the high school that I went to in Tucson, Arizona. And I saw in the middle of the square, there was a young man. And that young man was wearing a greatcoat of a Russian soldier. And I went up to him and I talked to him, and we talked in Russian, and he told me that he came over with this huge wave of East German citizens. His job was to guard the East German border. And I said to him, you're going to have quite the story when you go back to Mother Russia. And he said, I'm not going back. He said, I'm going to keep going east until I see the Pacific Ocean. And then I know I'll be free. Of course, then he would be in California, but that's a whole other story. The reason why that young man wanted to come to the United States, the reason why he wanted to go west, is because he knew that this is the greatest country in the world, and it's not great just because of our military. It's not great just because of our economy. It is great because of the liberties guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. But you look around and you see what's happening in this nation today. And that country that young man wanted to go to, slowly but surely, it is becoming unrecognizable to him and unrecognizable to ourselves. I want you to think about a moment what things would be like if we had not been so successful in 2010, what this country would be like. That is what is at stake, ladies and gentlemen. That is why we need a new president. That is why we need a new Senate, and that is why I want to win this race to represent you in the United States Congress. It is a stark choice that we're left with. I want you to think about what they promised when they ran way back, when they finally took over the House and they took over the Senate and they took over eventually the presidency. They promised that they were going to give us health care. Instead, they gave us health care rationing. They promised that they were going to give us, or they were going to secure our border. Instead, they sued this state. They said This president promised that he was going to improve our reputation in the Middle East, and instead they are attacking our embassy with impunity in Libya today. But most of all, there's the big three: Obamacare, the stimulus, and Fast and Furious. These three things, these three issues have become a scandal in this country, a scandal that has become a cause that has become a movement, and a movement, you mark my words, on the first Tuesday in November will shake the very foundations in Washington, D.C. like we have not seen in a generation. At this nation's founding, at the Virginia ratification of the Constitution, they said, we fear that our liberties will belong to one particular branch of government. We need one branch to be a check on the other. What they meant was they did not want to have a rubber stamp. And yet, in this city, Ann Kirkpatrick told Progressive Radio that when asked what she thought of President Obama, she said, "I don't want to second guess the president." That is not what our founders wanted, ladies and gentlemen. They wanted to have a check and a balance. When it comes to the issues of raising taxes, was she a check and a balance, or was she a rubber stamp? When it came to the issue of the stimulus, was she a check and a balance, or was she a rubber stamp? When it came to the issue of Obamacare, was she a check and a balance, or was she a rubber stamp? She was a rubber stamp, and we need a check and a balance in Congress to watch any president who's going to be in the executive branch. That's why you have a Congress. That's what our founders wanted. I want you to think for a moment, the 2 years that she was in office, what happened? February 2009, the stimulus was passed. You go on to March 2009, card check. June 2009, cap and trade. June 2009, cash for clunkers. March 2010, Obamacare. March 2010, Rob Krentz is killed on our southern border. June 2010, you have Dodd-Frank. And September 2010, you have the reauthorization of the bailouts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not a simple list of bills. That's not even a record. That is a sustained assault on the Constitution of the United States by Ann Kirkpatrick, Nancy Pelosi, and Barack Obama in the White House. Now, you all know what happened in Holbrook. You know that she had a town hall. And we are going to be having ads, I'll tell you that right now. You know what happened in Holbrook. You remember how she left that town hall of normal people, everyday people, seniors, asking her what her position was going to be on health care, and what did she do? She ran out on those constituents. She got inside that car with California plates, and she took off, never to return. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a combat veteran. I've never walked away from a fight in my life. And I'll tell you this, I'll make you this promise. I will never walk out on a town hall. I'll never walk out on Arizona, and I'll never walk out on you. For those of you who know me, you know I've served in the legislature, you know I've served in Iraq, you know I've served as an officer in the Army. Those of you who know me, you know I will fight, and I'll do everything I can to stand up for this district. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jonathan Paton, and if you give me the chance, I want to help you take this country back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank all of you once again for being here tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Roger Boone here.